You ready, Cassie Greener?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're here on the 202nd Variate podcast.
Yeah. Sean Dunn and Cassie Greener, your hosts, filmmakers, artists, seekers on the path.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
We have about the coolest setup I think we could have today.
Yeah, we're up here visiting your mom in Maine again.
Yeah.
This is what our summer's about. Like, I think things have fucking really changed. So
Yeah, it switches priorities and
yeah,
being up here is really good, but all her art's around here, which is awesome and inspiring. And
we're in your mom's basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this is where the magic happens. This is her studio.
It's definitely like, I don't even know if you can see those, but she has themes and they're beautiful. So follow her on Instagram, Flowers Not Fascism with underscores. So
definitely. I'm gonna start this off with a smoke.
Please.
To try to mellow out the vibe.
I'm already blazed.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm gonna try. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. I'm gonna light up this Jamaican spider leg that I rolled last night. I'm rolling fat fucking joints while we're
Does
up
that
here.
have keef on it?
Well, yeah. What I did was we have this coconut oil, infused coconut oil that we made, and I just take like a little pinky full of that, and I just kind of paint the whole joint, so it's like the whole joint's like a little wet with this this cannabis oil, and then I roll it around in our ample keef because we never fuck with our keef.
Yeah.
So now we're up in Maine and we're fucking with our keef. So this thing looks fuzzy and furry, and I dig it. So.
Yeah, I woke up and I was like, oh, today's the day where I need a little cannabis oil to get me through this time of the month.
Yeah.
It helps a
First
lot,
day of your
though.
period.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little like my eyes through this might get like a little smaller. But it does like a little scoop, does it?
Yeah, it's funny because I suggest it every month when your period starts, and you always look at me like I'm crazy at first.
Right.
I'm like, hey, do you want to, you seem like you're in pain. Why don't you take some cannabis?
Well, because
you're like, Sean, come on, man. Like, let's get serious.
Oh, because I'm
and
like,
then it hits you.
I'm setting myself for a whole trip,
Yeah, totally. Well, thank God you got your period and we're not having a child. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's the first thing my mom said to me. Well, that's good news. And
we keep rolling the dice. I don't know. Maybe I don't have like a proper sperm or whatever, but like.
We don't roll the dice.
We don't roll the dice. I'm not.
This is. I read, and maybe I'm fucked up, and maybe people will be like, "Oh, they're stupid." But I read that the pull-out method is like very effective birth control, and if we could have kids, which we don't know, but if we could, it's worked for us so far. 10 years deep.
Definitely. I'm not recommending it for everyone. You got to have a lot of control. You got to have fucking discipline. You gonna hit this?
I guess so.
The thing just looks intimidating. If someone handed me that somewhere, I'd be like, yo, dude, what is this?
I don't even want to touch it because... Shawnee, I think our last podcast was the best one yet with your dad.
This one's the best one yet.
Okay, this one's the best one yet, but that one was pretty freaking good.
Yeah, we're kind of still in the afterglow of that. That one, I don't know what it did, but now that our show's on YouTube, that one seemed to like... The algorithm loved it.
Yeah.
So that's our most popular podcast ever. My dad telling a bunch of stories about fucking selling fake acid in the 70s and like his journey to recovery and all this wild shit. We didn't even get into, like, it was honestly the tip of the iceberg. We talked for 2 hours and it was the tip of the iceberg. Because in terms of a conversation him and I could have, that could be really interesting to people because him and I have done so much healing together. If we got into my childhood and what that was like and, why he was behaving the way he was behaving and why I might have behaved the way I behaved in response, like there's a whole nother conversation there. My dad's a good dude.
Yeah, no. We've been begging him for a long time. And then I think we like tricked him almost.
Well, I'll tell you this about my dad. He is a real motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's real. He's not full of shit. He has been, and he can be.
Right.
But I'm his son, and I know better, and he knows it doesn't work with me.
Yeah. You can smell it. too. You can smell when someone's talking shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you introduced me to even the concept of being able to recognize when someone's on drugs. You know, because I'm just like, oh, okay, that's how they are, you know, that's their makeup, and you're like, no, that's pills, or that's heroin, or that's this. I don't, and I'm starting to pick up in it and be like more in tuned and sensitive to where people are at and like what the signs are that someone might be medicating in that way. But
yeah, I mean, with my dad, it's so easy to tell. It's funny in the comment section on that one. Somebody wrote like, "Oh man, I'm so psyched to hear this. It's so great to see your dad strong in sobriety. I'm 5 years into my sobriety, and it's really great to see your dad so strong in his sobriety and doing his thing." And I just wrote, I wrote, "Lol. I don't think he's strong in his sobriety right now, and nor would he claim to be. I think he probably was on something during that podcast." And I said that in the comments, and I'm the only reason I'm saying this is because I think it's important to be honest with people, especially when you're talking about substance abuse. It's not like there is this day that you're on the other side of it.
right.
Yeah, it takes a lot to not want to turn back to that thing once you know about it. And I think he even touched on it in the podcast when he was talking about crack and saying like how I need to have that feeling again. Yeah, and
No, even talking about it with him, I knew this wasn't true, but it's kind of like when you talk to an addict and you start like reminding them of how good it was or tapping them into that feeling. I'm like, oh no, this feels like dangerous territory. You know, like we need to pretend like this doesn't exist.
Totally.
What?
Yeah, but that's not healthy either.
No.
No, and you know, for as much as I think AA helped my dad, I think there's a lot of things about it that hurt him.
Well, one of the things that they seemed to get right was like taking it one step at a time, one day at a time.
Yeah, one day at a time that's good. But then what they do to almost nullify that, to me, and the way I think, is it's one day at a time, but then it's, I got 1,232 days sober. It's like, why are we keeping track? You got today? You got today handled? I got today handled? We got each other's back today? Like, stay grounded in that. Not that you can't celebrate the accomplishment of cleaning your life up.
Right, but that
everything.
Structure might not work for everyone or be.
No, it doesn't work for a personality like my dad. It wouldn't work for me because I know when we were together, like you had never seen my dad fucked up. We were years into our relationship and you had never seen him on pills or anything suspicious like that.
Right.
And then one day we're in LA and I called home and I heard, and I'm talking to him and I'm like, okay, my dad's fucked up. And he hadn't been fucked up in 7 years.
Didn't we go home early or something?
Yeah. Because then I immediately got on the phone with my mom. I was like, what's going on? She's like, he's fucking up. It was one of the worst feelings because I used to have nightmares about that. Because it's funny, I haven't thought about this in a long time, but it was so traumatizing and so I keep using the word wild to describe it because there was no way to predict what his behavior would be or how far it would go or the type of phone call you would get. And so once he did clean himself up and it seemed like he was doing really good and he's sponsoring people and all this and he's putting together some real time, during his sobriety, I would have nightmares that he fucked up.
Right.
Like it would haunt me. It would awaken me. And I'd be like, oh God, thank God that's a fucking dream.
Yeah.
And then to get that phone call or to call home that day and hear it in his voice and then get on with my mom, she's all defeated. Just like, fuck, man. And for him, like a lot of because immediately he got into his old games of, no, I'm not doing anything. What the fuck, Sean? Your mother's fucking crazy. And you could just hear it in his voice.
Yeah.
It's like disgusting. And it's all to protect this idea that he has 7 years sober, you know? And once we do the whole dance, he finally comes around to not necessarily admitting that because he's not that self-reflective. But I could hear it. And I'm like, oh, okay. The longer your sobriety goes on, it's almost like a tightrope for you. And I just don't know how much that part of the attitude of 12-step recovery really helps him.
Well, because there's the shame of
The shame.
of being like, okay, now I'm back to one day or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I might be the personality type to just throw it out and to do it to spite people. Like, fuck these 4 days. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, like every 3 years, I'm going to restart my fucking sobriety clock, motherfuckers.
Yeah. No, but do you think that when they say that you need to hit rock bottom, is that, in your experience, is that like myth or is that true? Do you feel like with your dad it was always a rock bottom thing before he switched? I mean, I obviously with all the times that I've seen him kind of dance with it, it hasn't been rock bottom.
No, very fucking far from it.
So
yeah, rock bottom was not being able to find him on the morning of my sister Erin's funeral, and realizing that he had stolen, or she like really wanted this electric scooter, and she died, and my dad just took it, fucking was out there just on the streets doing crack the morning of her funeral. At 5:30 in the morning, me and my mom are driving around the streets of Peekskill trying to find my dad. And like, that's when you're rock bottom territory.
yeah, that's when you kind of like, you can't even, it's just like, he's not even a person. He's completely co-opted by.
Yeah. This was after he did time in prison. Yeah. So I don't know, the 14 months that he had to do behind bars for the war on drugs didn't do a thing to rehabilitate him. I think it traumatized him further. It's dicey territory talking to him about his time in prison, because he takes it almost like he has to take on like this like tough guy persona. Like, he starts talking different. You could see like the veins in his neck start sticking out, and it's like it's definitely enlivening an energy that doesn't help him. But yeah, the rock bottom thing is interesting, because I think everybody's rock bottom looks different and it feels different. And not everyone needs to go there. I don't even think he necessarily needs to go there. Well,
maybe it's even the myth of the rock bottom. Like, we let people go deeper and deeper and deeper and think, well, there's gonna be a rock bottom that they have to hit,
Yeah. I mean, and for him, I think just a reminder that could happen is enough to get him back on track these days. You saw a couple weeks ago, my mom tried to stage an intervention one morning, all impromptu. My sister's over there, and you're there, and I'm there, and we're, I don't know, my dad was fucked up on fucking Oxycontin or Xanax or something the night before, like, looking like he was dead. Like he had taken an overdose, so we were, like, confronting him and this and that. And it didn't take much, didn't take many words. You saw how I
There's something maybe about, like, having hit rock bottom in the past that probably, like, every revisit to that area is like a new rock bottom, because you can just like bring up all like where it could go, where because it did feel dramatic. It felt like, today you need to figure something out,
Yeah.
We need to figure this out as a family today,
Yeah.
And when that's the deal, that is kind of, it feels like it's using a rock bottom in a way that's useful and helpful. And it's like, okay, we're not going to flounder in this. We're going to, it's all hands on deck now,
Yeah.
We care about you. We love you. It's, that kind of vibe.
And not playing to me, the blame and shame game. Not doing that. It's so hard, because all your passion comes up, your energy comes up. I become the 14-year-old version of myself that's literally just trying to protect my sisters and my mom from this fucking drug freak. And I become that boy. But then, like, you got to take a few breaths and get your wisdom back online, because my wisdom tells me all that stuff that has to do with shame and blame is pushing him further into where he's already headed, and the love is the only tether that'll bring him back. So I don't know, that morning I was definitely more on the tip of like, Dad, man, I understand why you use drugs. I understand why you want to. I don't understand why the dishonesty about it. Right. I don't understand messing with substances that could ruin your life.
Yeah, but once you really can absorb into your bones that addiction is a response to disconnection, it's like, okay, shame and blame might be the like easy pathway, the familiar pathway, the pathway we've had instilled with us because of Catholicism or whatever religious.
It's also because of capitalism. It's his fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our environment. It's not the society that he can't seem to function in or feel comfortable in.
Mm-hmm.
It's his fault. And that's we as in most things, we get fed a bullshit story, and it's on us to kind of use our lived experience to re-educate ourselves and get mature and upgrade our operating system. And I'm not a victim of anything. I'm grateful for this. But when you're coming up a son or a daughter of an addict that's out of control, you're having to update your operating system every fucking 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to become a shell of yourself how they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, you kind of know how it is.
Yeah, no, and I see how even last time you were able to talk to him where you're like, okay, I'm just going to cut to the part that, sometimes in the past, maybe I've had to do like 3 rounds of shame and blame before I come around.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. And now we're going to just try to like skip the shame and blame.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah. Well, I have more lived experience. I know what it's like to be an adult. I understand why somebody would want to check out. I understand.
You understand why you'd want to check out. And I think
I said during that, and I know my sister Megan could barely handle hearing this stuff, but I'm like, Dad, I use drugs. You know that. Like, I'm not against drugs. It's the ones you're using, the people you're getting them from, what they do to you.
Mm-hmm.
I collaborate with chemical portals to take me to a higher state of consciousness that I can then do something about. It just shows me a little glimpse of a higher state of consciousness that exists in me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And what my dad seems to be trying to do is blunt that. It's because it's too much. Because he was raised in a way that he doesn't feel fucking safe in this place, no matter what.
Totally. And even though his son's offered these experiences and he's shared these experiences with you, culturally it's not acceptable. It would be nice if he didn't have to say to his son, like, I could really use an experience. It'd be nice if he had a therapist and other people who were invested in his fundamental healing, which might require consciousness expanding chemicals, to give broader perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's clear that's why ketamine has helped so many people, from what I understand, with what a medically induced ketamine experience can do, which I don't think I've ever gone to those depths could.
Last time we did it, I felt like I was in that place. I was like, this is a fucking K-hole, man.
Yeah, no, totally. But maybe because I'm not depressed, I don't notice the difference after so much. And maybe if you were in a different state of being.
Imagine you had been marinating in like a low-level depression for a long time, maybe your whole life. So much so that it's in your bones, it's in your cells, it's in your muscles. Everything just reacts to this state of being that you've seen your life as. And then you take this chemical, ketamine, that pulls you out of your body.
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
Yeah, you feel like you can see the larger systems at work or something.
Yeah. To me, it's not even intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
You get pulled out of your body and your body gets a break from all those stories. Your ego's not feeding it those stories. Your cells get a break from it. Your muscles get a break from it. They remember that. They remember the grace that we came here to inhabit. And ketamine's just a reminder, but it just gives you a little break. And what's cool about ketamine in our experience is it's a half hour.
Yeah.
It's not a big commitment. It's not something that's going to fucking ruin your day if it's, goes wrong.
We just have one of our friends on who has done the ketamine treatments, because I'm curious about how long that is, and because that's probably longer.
We have a few friends that have done ketamine treatments.
Yeah.
Where you go and hook up to the IV. I'm sure we could get somebody to talk about it.
Know what else is interesting, and we should probably explore further too, is, especially the proof is just in the Oxyana comments. Yeah. People saying that cannabis and kratom, either or in conjunction, have helped them with getting off opiates.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
That's seems to be something that a lot of people are doing, right?
Yeah, and more people need to know about it.
Right.
It's so funny. I went on. You remember this? I took some acid one day and I was fucking flying high, and I went on this public access show.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
It's like these two moms who have both lost their sons,
Mm-hmm.
and to heroin, to opiates. And I went on there and I talked to them, and they really connected with me, and it was cool. I had like I wasn't on a buzz. I was like I was in my right mind, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't out of it. But I kept talking about cannabis and kratom or kratom, whatever you want to call it. And they did not like that. They didn't like that. They wanted to hear more about jails and rehabs and institutions like that. They didn't want to hear about ibogaine. Only one person in the thousands and thousands of comments on our film Oxyana has brought up ibogaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what did they say about it?
They just wrote the word ibogaine. And I wrote ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
One person in all those years. So you know, we just need to get this information out there. And I think when we can get over our attachment to the systems that we're currently in that aren't serving us, especially when it comes to addiction recovery, when we can get over our attachment to those things and start saying, well, if nature provided the opiate, it definitely provided the antidote.
Yeah.
So why don't we trust that? And why don't we trust some of the veterans and people with severe trauma and PTSD that have been addicted and that have used these things to come out of it? Why don't we trust them instead of a government who's just doing the bidding of pharmaceuticals? You know, you see how when you put in the profit motive, how it starts to corrupt, and we can't get real information, we can't get real healing. How many people have unnecessarily died that maybe could have just gone to a 72-hour ibogaine retreat?
And why is when you get on methadone, getting off methadone not a part of the conversation?
Yeah.
You know, they just are like, okay, you can start taking this thing. You just have to take it forever.
I think I understand that, because I think a lot of times the idea of going without anything is too much for the person to bear, and they'd almost rather not live. So it's almost like you don't want to lay that trip on them.
I can respect that, but it does seem like part of that it's become accepted.
Right.
That, and I can't imagine that there's not profit motive in that reality. That they're like, okay, we'll take you off this, but we're going to put you on this.
It's like Suboxone.
Well, that's what I mean, right? That's the same thing. Or is those different things?
It's not the same thing.
Okay.
Methadone's just like kind of a weaker opiate.
Oh, Suboxone, that's what I was thinking.
Suboxone's like an opiate blocker that has some sort of opiate in it or something.
Yeah, like it makes you.
But it's a pharmaceutical, yeah. And we referenced our movie Oxyana. We should say what that is.
Yeah.
In 2012, I was on a road trip with Johnny Fritz and my friend Colby, and we were visiting Johnny Fritz, who's a country musician. We were visiting his hometown in Virginia, and we were having ourselves a night. We were sitting in this fucking Johnny's neighbor, these amazing dudes, Garbage Man, who's like hoarded all this stuff. Like he built this shack, and they just sit in there drinking moonshine. So we're just drinking moonshine, hanging out, really, really on one. And we were telling them that we were on this road trip, and I don't know, we were headed to like Knoxville, Tennessee, for Johnny to buy a new Sprinter van. And we were telling them about that, and they were like, you should stop in this town, Oxyana, on the way. And we're like, what's there? They were like, and Johnny's like, oh my God, I've been there with these guys. It's like ATVs, this and that. But they were also like, it's a fucking crazy place. Like, you guys would want to see this place. So we're like, yeah, sure. So that night we fucking pull out of there, and Johnny wasn't drinking moonshine. He doesn't really party like that. Moonshine's a different, I could do a whole podcast on it. It's a way different thing. It's a different buzz, but.
Wait, do you think it's, sorry, can I ask about it though?
Moonshine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the different buzz? Is it, because I hear mezcal is like a different buzz.
It kind of felt like how people describe that.
Yeah, did you get hungover? Do you get hungover from it?
No, it wasn't a bad hangover or anything. It wasn't. It was like a euphoric, sweet, almost like champagne-like thing, just from like a few sips here and there.
Interesting.
Homemade moonshine that had like cherry flavoring in it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had it.
Yeah, so
you were in Oxyana.
Yeah, we're like, cool, we'll go stay in Oxyana tonight. You know, it's like 3 hours away from here. So we hop in the van, head out. Johnny drives us in there. Why I mean, this place is in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been there a number of times. You're winding through these crazy mountain roads, and it's really scary, especially with the way that Johnny would drive, because he's very confident behind the wheel. Whew. Wild night, being drunk on moonshine, finding Oxyana for the first time. So anyway, we pull into this town. As we pull into this town, first fucking person I see is a juggalo.
Yeah.
This is just a juggalo standing there, just chain smoking cigarettes, and I'm like, I'm gonna go over to that dude. So I go over to him, I'm like, hey man, what up? And we start chatting, and I'm like, I'm gonna go smoke a joint over here, and he like kind of joins me. We're smoking a little weed, we're talking, he's telling me about juggalos. I'm telling him like, yo, I just made this movie American Juggalo.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I'm running into you. And he's like, yeah man, and he's like telling us all this stuff. And he's like, if you want to know the truth, man, this town you're in right now is all about dope. And my heart sunk. And he's like, yeah, they call it Oxyana. I was like, oh shit, because the name of the town's Oxyana. He's like, they call it Oxyana. And 15 minutes later, he's shooting up into his hand in front of us in the van. It's crazy, haunting, real. I can remember it like it's yesterday kind of moment. It scared us. Because we were staying in that town, and we were new to that town, and there's only 1,500 people there, so we're very noticeable. So, I don't know, we chilled there for like 3-4 days, just hung around. And after those 3-4 days, I was just like, I was telling Colby, I was like, yo, this is my next movie, man. I think we just like come here and make a movie about this place. Just talk to the people here. Like, don't even have to add a thing. Nothing. Like, this is like simple. If it's true what this kid's telling us and what we've seen is really the case throughout this town, we got to help these people tell their story. Because everybody that we met was addicted. And they would not even really kind of be aware that they're addicted. You talk to someone and they're almost speaking down about addicts. And they're like, and me, I just take them like the doctor tells me. And I'm like, oh my God. So you'd see this, like,
yeah,
it got into every part of society there.
Well, because, I mean, the doctors are also, like, there's the pill mills. I don't think we ended up putting it in the movie, obviously, but there were these places that would just, like,
you just go in there and you ask for pills and they sell them to you.
Yeah.
It's a pill mill.
Yeah.
And...
pain management clinic.
Yeah, they call it a pain management clinic or whatever. I don't know if that's still going on. I'm sure it is. Or like a lot of people became hip to all this shit, but we were kind of on the forefront.
Yeah.
Even talking about what we had come across before we had even made the film, the way we were talking about it was really upsetting people. Like, there is no opioid epidemic. There is no problem. Stop it. Don't go down there. I remember people threatening us. Don't fucking go down there. Don't make this movie. You will be met by Smith & Wesson when you enter this town.
The scariest,
scared us, man.
One of the scariest nights we had, though, was we were hanging with these teenagers, and there's something about teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Like,
of course, like the scariest shit that happens to us in the whole making of the movie was like had nothing to do with anyone that was on drugs.
Yeah, they were just teenagers.
They're just like teenagers, and somebody was like, hey man, there's a bunch of people having a huge bonfire at the end of this holler. And we're like, cool. Sounds like, I'm just thinking visually, that sounds cool. Like, I want to shoot a bonfire under the stars at night at the end of a holler.
Right.
Like, and we go there, and it's just like clearly like a high school party.
Yeah.
And it's so far down this 1-lane dirt road.
Yeah.
And we get there. I don't remember who, but we had some helpers on that movie that were not all with it. They start handing out release forms, and these kids are looking at this release form, and then they turned on us. And I was like, why the fuck are you handing release forms to people?
I think it was me. It was probably me.
Yeah, Cassie, you're all like producing. I am a producing robot. And I'm like, yo, no cameras, nothing like that. We're going to have a fucking few beers and see if anything goes down. And instead, these kids turned on us. And I don't know why we're talking about this, but yeah, they ended up chasing us out.
I just think it's funny how scary teenagers can be sometimes. Like, we're in a place where there's like...
Teenage boys scare the shit out of me more than any other segment of society I've ever come across. Because they don't give a fuck. They got fucking hormones racing through them. They got something to prove, and they got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how I was as a teenager, and I wasn't even fucking out of control, but I was out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Oceana is send out a prayer to Oceana and all the people down there, because it's a typical American tale of a resource-rich area that got completely taken advantage of by big business. Their resources and labor were exploited. And when coal really wasn't the flavor of the week anymore, they got the fuck out of there. And they left this population of people who all that they knew how to do was coal mine. This population of people that kept the lights on in this country for generations.
Yeah.
We turn our back on them. And then we're like, why do you have a drug problem?
It's like crazy that that's not like the richest area. That, you know, whether it's you're bottling water or raping Africa of its resources, it's this thing that these areas that are so rich don't see that money.
Of course.
Well, I know, of course, but it's still like I can still say it's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
I don't know who should see the money. I think, you know what I mean, but I don't know.
I mean, I think there's a way of going about human life where we don't have to like plunder the depths of the surface of this place and pull out things to burn. I don't know. I just think there's a way of going about things that we don't really need to rely on fossil fuels. Or the exploitation of labor, or the subjugation of entire populations, or U.S.-backed coups, you know, taking out Bolivia's first indigenous elected leader. We take him out so Elon Musk can go in there and mine for lithium for his batteries. You know, this is stuff, and he's proud of that. He's proud of it. Our hero, Elon Musk. Everyone loves Elon Musk, right? So it's the same old story. And we made that film in a way to not really like take a political stance. But I think by making it the way we made it, it ended up doing that. Because nobody could understand why we would really only talk to the people who were suffering. Why we would talk to the people who are addicted or the people that are close to them. Where are the experts? Where are the solutions? And it's just such a bullshit neoliberal way of thinking.
Yeah, you need to understand the problem.
You need to understand the problem. You need to fucking transcend your concepts of what you thought addiction was, you know? What you thought people were all about.
It's just like an ongoing discovery of understanding each other better. Yeah. You know, like you're not going to be like we were saying before, we're just like, you can't get to the other side of something. It's just like, you're like, okay,
yeah,
let's understand this. Like,
yeah. Anytime you think you're on the other side of something or you got something figured out, like, good for you. It's fucking total illusion. Good for you though. That's why we make art. To me, that's why we make art. That's why it's important for me to go to and set up shop in the place beyond the bullshit, in the place removed from the dualities and the dichotomies, being a little bit outside the omega point. You know, being able to look at things from a different place, in the place beyond the bullshit, and make art for that place in your heart, and come from that place. You know, that's what we try to do. We try to do our best.
Yeah, still figuring out if there's a way to do that with money involved, and just hearing what every artist seems to have to go through when financing a project. It does seem very difficult nowadays. The content that you see created, the art that you see created, that sees the big screens, you can see the layers behind it. You can see how the studio industry has played a part in the myth of American exceptionalism, you know, or
so is that art?
That's a good question.
Or is it
propaganda?
Or propaganda that looks artistic? Because to me, we've gone broke many times chasing the muse, making our art. And not that that's what everyone has to do, but we don't have parents giving us money. We don't have trust funds. We don't have anyone to rely on in that way. But we also don't have student debt.
Right.
So we can take some we can take some chances. You know, we've managed to make it an okay living, but really it's been about not having any corrupting factors in these projects that are going to outlive us.
Right.
And I think what happens is, like, when you get into the frame of mind where you need permission to do your thing, and in our case this would be us not making something unless Netflix was funding it, or not starting up a project until we had proper financing secured, or this or that. You're already fucking in the bullshit. You're in the weeds, because the truth is you don't need permission to make your art. You don't need their resources, and not only that, I'll take a step further, you don't want them. Because think about what it does. Netflix isn't making art. They're not interested in that. They're making products, and they're mitigating risk.
Yeah.
When you mitigate risk, you're not going to be putting out groundbreaking art. And people might dig it, but they don't understand what they're missing out on.
That's probably why comedies become so popular, especially on Netflix, because it is a way to get into groundbreaking territory.
Yeah.
I think.
What groundbreaking comedies you think Netflix has put out? Are you talking about stand-up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that's the whole thing. Some of the stand-up you see out there, you're like, I'm surprised they let this out there.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just the algorithm saying, like, Eric Andre is very popular. Give him special. Don't, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So capitalism corrupts everything, but it really it fucks with our culture of art in a really nasty and insidious way that I hate, and that I try to encourage more people to, if you're serious about art and you have already know in your heart that you're devoting your life to it, take fucking risks.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking go there. Show us the way. The artists are supposed to be the ones leading the way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Showing us, and we're trying to do this, what the brighter future that we could inhabit looks like, what it feels like, bringing back remnants from those visions, building enduring monuments to our visions, to the things that come to us, the ideas, and sharing those, and like Alex Gray says, like, feeding the hungry souls. That's what the artist is here to do. We got to feed the hungry souls. We got to keep the spirit of this place alive. We're the torchbearers. Think about all the fucking dopeness that came before us that inspired us. It's our turn now. And we're going to wait around to get proper funding or to do this or that. Or you know, we wanted to make a radio show. Ideally, that would be on Sirius XM being blasted out to fucking tens of millions of people.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen. I'm real with myself. That ain't going to happen. I'm not holding my breath for that. So instead, I'm going to just start making it and putting it out there. And who cares if anyone's listening to it? I'm having a good time. I'm feeding my hungry soul.
And mine.
And yours.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. I mean, I sit down to do Church of Chill. I'm just curating songs. I don't even think I'm making art. You're making art while I do it. So many people have reached out and said that's what they listen to when they paint or make art.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Fuck, man. That's so cool. That's so cool. But we weren't going to get permission to do that.
Yeah, and permission, the little permission we did have, it might not be there any longer, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can get into that.
Nah, fuck it.
But yeah, like, remember when Adult Swim came to us and they were like, oh, Church of Chill could be like on our streaming network. And we do it. We do a great episode. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. Try this, that, and the other thing, and let's do another episode. And we did it. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. So slowly but surely, they're trying to suck the spirit out of it, suck the life out of it, trying to get more hands on the puppet strings. And we're just like, nope. We're not doing this anymore. No, thank you. I don't fucking care what kind of exposure you think you're giving us. It ain't worth it because we're compromising our vision. It ain't worth it. Let's move on to another thing.
Yeah. And this is fun, though.
What?
You just doing it us, setting up a couple iPhones and
Oh, this show? The
Yeah.
Very
The
podcast?
very podcast. I'm
This
having
fucking
fun
thing?
doing it.
I'm having fun doing it too.
Even being blazed, and that's the best part, is that we can just show up wherever we're at.
This setup is so small, like people can't really see it, but like it's 3 iPhones and a Zoom recorder. So this can come anywhere with us. We could pretty much do this anywhere. We really have no excuse not to do it, besides we're just not feeling it. And that happens.
Yeah.
You're fucking blazed, guys.
I am.
I can fucking see it in your eyes.
I was like
I'm
thinking,
I sound like I'm fucking off on one, and you're
No.
like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, cool. You could say some stuff too. I don't know. You made these fucking films with me. We've done everything. We've gone broke together. We've done everything that you could possibly try to do as 2 fucking documentarians.
What I'm saying is, it's been like the joy of my life. It's been a blast, and
Yeah.
I've learned so much, and I've learned about who I want to be and what life's about, and every person I've met has informed who I am. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess the real question is, like, how do we, and I guess anyone listening to this, how do you access the place beyond the bullshit where you can come from your heart?
settle for nothing less.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just gotta, we all hit moments of bullshit. You just gotta, ugh, gross. Push it out, I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you talk for a little bit and see what you come up with while I smoke.
Okay.
Let's see if you like it. Let's see how it feels.
I don't know. I can tell when I'm not being myself. And even though I don't really have that much to say, I feel like right now this is like the most honest place I can be at.
Oh yeah.
This is my beyond the bullshit. You know what I mean? If I were talking a lot right now or thinking like I knew it, I feel good. And fucking grateful to be on this journey with you. I don't know what else to say besides that right now. That's what I got. I am.
Okay. You're grateful?
I'm grateful to be
dig
here
that.
with you.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Gratitude.
I like your hat.
Yeah. A gift from the very, very talented cinematographer, Drew Sirocco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says DMT, directing movies and television. How appropriate.
That's what I do. Nothing to see here.
Art can be DMT though, you know? You're like, oh, I just popped into another world and now where am I?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like, I think of, it was probably a year ago now that we discovered Ween.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, who gave me this hat, beautiful, talented cinematographer, beautiful soul, good friend of ours, introduced us to Ween. He sent a playlist with like 18 songs. I don't even know how he could have whittled it down to that or picked those songs or for what reason. Sent me these songs after we had been on a trip together and was like, you should check out Ween. And I was like, I'm going to. And I threw on some headphones and smoked a joint down in the park, and I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I think this is my new favorite band.
Yeah.
But when I listen to them, it's like you're inhabiting like a funnier, sillier, cooler universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're in on something. They did that. They created with music and their lyrics and their references like a universe.
A portal.
It's a portal. It's a portal to weirdness.
Right.
Yeah, that's the gift of Ween. I mean, I could go on about any artist, but like the gift of Ween is that portal to weirdness. Frank Zappa does it too.
Richie Brown does it.
Richie Brown, who made this flag, who designed our Church of Chill alien sticker.
Oh, yeah, those are so cool.
Yeah, Richie Brown, look him up. We'll have him on the podcast.
I hope soon. Yeah.
One of our favorite artists, just like an inspired motherfucker who sees the world in a certain way and brings back the goods every fucking time. He always blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the motherfuckers that keep us going. Our peers that inspire us. Fuck, man.
Yeah, my mom keeps me going. Like, look at her walls.
Jesus Christ.
She retired, and I was like, I'm not slowing down for a second. Like,
Your
I wish I
mom-
could have started art. Like, she followed that path sooner. So
we're in, it feels like a goddamn art museum down here. She's so prolific, and I was moving stuff around a little bit to set up this shot. There's piles of art everywhere. She wasn't an artist when she moved into this place 2 years ago.
Yeah.
She just started.
Yeah.
68 years old.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's so inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
It's so inspiring. That's why I wanted to do it down here. This room is like, it's radiating with creativity and like, just that, like, let's get it done. This is that place.
Know who else is? Because you know who else is? Let's get it done. Brick and Mortar.
Yeah.
Who this is
This
their
is their
flag
for their band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of music that just like reminds you what it's all about and kind of is like a compass for like being a good person. Like that's kind of the stuff that they talk about in some way, but it's cool and it's real and it's
fun. It's good music.
It's great music.
One of the best shows you can see.
One of the best shows I've ever seen.
If there's ever live music again, go see Brick and Mortar.
Yeah, or check them out now.
Check them out now on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And these people really inspire us. And you get around them, and they have a way of seeing the world that's so inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, thank God the system didn't swallow you up and you're not some working drone, and we get to share in your gifts.
Or the system swallowed you up and now you're like, my mom like popped out and retired and was like, all right, well, I got a break. Let's fucking do this. And it fucking sucks that we're doing this podcast on the end of what's been unemployment for so many people. And it's for us and everything, that's going to become very constricting. But this time I've seen so much creativity from people, and it's a time to not stop that, Ramin put something up just yesterday or today being like, it's not just the soft and good times for creating, it's all the time. Yeah.
And to me personally, I think hard times creates better, more enduring art. This is stuff that, the stuff that was born out of the Vietnam era, the Vietnam War era here. It's still some of our favorite stuff. We're obsessed with that stuff.
Well, just look at how your perspective and how you grew up and the relationship you had with your dad allowed you to make a compassionate, no bullshit film about Oxyana and about the people in Oxyana who wanted to tell their stories.
Well, that's why we did it.
Right.
Really. Even at the time when we were going to make that film, my dad was only really kind of newly sober, but he was doing good. But like I hadn't worked through a lot of the anger and the pain and the judgment and all that stuff that was still kind of swirling around. And so just being around so many people that were addicted down in that town through no fault of their own, like I felt like I could blame my dad because I had all this context.
Yeah.
And I had all this like, come on, man.
Like he's weak and you'll never be weak like that.
Well, look at your family. Why are you doing drugs?
Mm-hmm.
Your beautiful wife. You have a job. She's got a job. Like, what the fuck are you checking out for? I wasn't thinking about kind of, what his internal experience was like and how hard and terrifying it must be to just get through a day. And being down in Oxyana, before we took cameras there, before we even fucking decided fully to make this film or anything, just being there and just spending days upon days with families who everyone's addicted, and you're like, you start to expand your consciousness and expand your circle of compassion, and you're like, damn, man, now my circle of compassion includes people who are drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
And you let that wall around your heart down, and then it makes me closer to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And now, and me being close to my dad right now while he's still on this planet, who knows how that's going to affect me? It's what allows me to function in a certain way. It's what allows me to see the world in a certain way. So healing that relationship, healing it through art, so to me, that was the only path. It was the only thing left to do. It was so obvious.
Yeah. And that it was just making me think that even like doing this music show where we just like play and devote our time to listening to music and just really feeling it and curating an experience that makes sense and that kind of taps into a vibe for what it is, an hour and a half or whatever. how healing, that's the medicine, you know what I mean? Maybe not healing, we're medicating, but medicating in a way that's really healthy for our souls, you know? You feel
Yeah.
you feel like when you play music, it's not just you're playing it, you know, for your mind, your heart, your stomach, your body, your energetic body, everyone around you. Like music has just been such a gift to our universe to have that kind of vibration that can affect people and create these collective ecstatic experiences.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the more culturally accepted experiences, and to not have that right now with not having live music is, I know it hurts me, not because I feel bad right now and I'm not like blaming it on not going to music, but I do know that every time that we went to a show, I was like, like I can like I can breathe again. Like
Oh
I
yeah, it's
needed
church.
I needed this like purifying experience
Yeah.
of just like allowing yourself to get, you know, I don't want to say assaulted, but confronted with waves of live, loud, penetrating music, and you can feel it. It's more powerful for me than any meditation I've ever had.
Name some shows. Let's get to it. Come on. What now all we have is memory bank. We have nothing on the calendar.
Yeah.
All we have is the shows we've been to.
God, there's so many. Well, the last one, Ween, thank God.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day on February 15th.
Yeah.
That was great.
Great weekend.
Great weekend.
One of the peak weekends of my life.
There's a Diarrhea Planet show at Mercury Lounge where it was like 6 guitars in this small room, and it was like, you know,
Awesome.
you know, I mean, there's Leftover Crack has done that.
Don't touch your headphones.
Screeching Weasel has done that. Angel Olsen has done that.
Oh man, Screeching Weasel at Riot Fest, probably 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? The sun was going down. Chicago, they're playing their hometown.
Yeah, and everyone was moshing, but there was so much space that like I did not feel. I was at the like back of the pit, and I just felt like totally safe and zen about it.
That's
you
your
know?
spot. That's where if you want to find Cass at a show, just look to the back of the pit.
Like
She's just on the back edge, you know.
Usually behind the security guard or something.
Security guard. Oh man, Bouncing Souls and Leftover Crack and Plow United at the Home for the Holidays shows in Asbury Park. I don't remember what year.
Year
that
after
was.
year, like
Fucking
4 years in a row.
Destroying a hotel room at the Empress, and we were just fucking. We had a crazy party.
Oh yeah, where you have to leave like a big tip, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. This never happened.
Yeah.
You wrote like on note like this never happened or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so many fucking good shows. Tom Petty.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Tom Petty 3 times. Madison Square Garden for his 30th anniversary tour. He played a show at Beacon Theater that me and my dad went to, where he just played he none of the hits.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was for like real fans. It was for like people that know the fucking deep cuts. So they came out and they did like songs we love, but you'd never hear Tom Petty play live.
Did he play like any Traveling Wilburys songs?
No, he didn't. He should have though.
That'd be fun.
Maybe he did. I'll look at the set list. But
Okay.
and then I saw him. Then we saw him together a month before he died.
That was a great show.
Great fucking show. Yeah. Thank God we went to that fucking show. Beautiful night.
I was cold, which is like, I just like the whole time I was like, I gotta be zen because I don't want to be distracted with being cold this whole time.
Yeah.
But it was like, I was in a cold plunge.
Yeah.
That's how I felt
know,
about the
tough.
whole show. I was like,
Yeah, just breathe.
catch my breath.
Breathe.
I'm not gonna freak out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let this distract me. But like at any show, you'll see me now with like, I got my hoodie.
Yeah, totally. You know what you're doing now.
I don't need to wear a dress to be cute. None of that.
Yeah, I miss those times. But I think that, part of me knows that live music hasn't died. The big ticketed corporate mass gathering has certainly died for now. But I'm sure everywhere people are doing it like we always have, singing songs to their friends and family.
Why is VR experiences not focused like
I know.
where you're like with someone and they're playing guitar and whatever in front of you. You're having like a private show with whoever. You know, we put these basketball players on a pedestal that we end up that people want to watch them play video games, but we could watch people play music where you're getting surround sound and you can look at the whole band and they're like, you can see them all like this, but you could really focus in and maybe even zoom in on their fingers, or like it would be great for learning how to play guitar if you're like, oh, I'm going to zoom in on their fingers.
Whoa.
And then
well,
you
could
could
not
also
even zoom in, just walk up to it.
and you know how they can create closed captioning off of all the content that's put up just by technology. They could definitely create a closed captioning, like this is the strings that they're playing or the chords.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Sorry,
wow.
this is just.
No, I think this is a really good. I want to shoot something like this.
That'd be cool.
Because I think it could. It would be really. It would be really cool to have like a fucking huge content base of things like that. And it could transcend the way we're used to seeing live music, like everyone facing the same direction to watch this like monolithic band in the distance up on a stage. Like it could be here.
You know, you're creating an intimate experience, and maybe you could even green screen it where it's like augmented reality where they're like sitting on your furniture. I mean, that's like more complicated, but
you're such a stoner.
Maybe
you're such a stoner right now.
Not your furniture, but they're sitting on just furniture. So they're in your room, but on furniture. So you just kind of like want to be in an empty space or out in a field, and you like put this on, and then they're just like there with you where you can still enjoy the sunset and the water, but you just got like, you're getting serenaded.
Yeah. I'm way into this.
I'm way into it too.
I think that it's an inevitability, because I don't think that shows the way we were seeing them are going to be happening anytime soon.
Or church.
Or church.
Sorry. Go. Yeah. What were you going to say?
We were supposed to be fucking seeing Dead and Company today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it kills me.
Yeah.
That fucking tears me up. We'd probably be on a nice dose of acid in the parking lot already. It's like early afternoon. We'd be out there.
Yeah. No, it's
a couple balloons.
This might be a time that's a wash, but it gets frustrating the more it feels like there's no concerted, devoted effort. Like, all right, cool. We're all globally going to stay inside, and all these taxes we paid in and everything is going to support us staying in for 4 weeks.
They need to incentivize it.
Yeah, let's incentivize it.
Like, is there a band that will reunite if we all behave ourselves?
Who could be that band that would be that universally liked?
I don't know. I think that if Axl Rose and Slash hadn't gotten back together before all this, maybe that could be a good incentive. You know, Led Zeppelin. I'm not a fan.
No,
but
you're a fan. How could you not be a fan? What the fuck are you talking about?
We never throw on Led Zeppelin. I don't think about them that much. They have some cool songs and everything, but it's not really necessarily my favorite of those kind of groups.
Mm-hmm.
But if fucking Led Zeppelin said, we're gonna fucking go on a world tour, if everybody just stays inside for a month, I think that could help.
I mean, the only way they will be able to go on a world tour is if everyone stays inside for a month. Pretty much your favorite band will go on tour if you stay inside for a month.
They're gonna have to. That's the fucking sad part. They're gonna have to go on tour. You know, bands that probably hated each other before are like, damn, man, we need money.
Well, how are they making? You mean, do you think bands stopped making money who weren't touring anyway?
Well, that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, they're probably the ones that are only ones that are like chilling.
Porno for Pyros did a 2-song live little shot reunion. First time in 24 years that they played together. I just watched it.
Oh, cool. How was that?
It was cool. Why did they only do 2 songs? It was cool. I just needed a little bit more, or a lot more. I don't know. I'm not even the biggest Porno for Pyros fans, but I don't know. Maybe I am. Perry Farrell is like a fucking very special human being. He might be an alien.
I don't know much about him.
He formed Jane's Addiction. He's the lead singer of Jane's Addiction.
Oh, okay.
The lead singer of Porno for Pyros, and he created Lollapalooza.
Okay, cool.
So a lot of other stuff. Incredible man. Incredible artist. Space Cadet.
Alien Cadet.
Yeah.
Yo, aliens. When are we going to see these pictures?
Aliens are here.
The aliens are here.
Yeah, man. They love it. Aliens know it's their time, right?
Do you want to see what they look like? Like, if they were like, okay, you have to pay $100 to see the picture of these off-world vehicles, would you be like first online, or you'd be like, oh, it's cool, I don't care?
If you had to pay, I don't care. It
Yeah.
would be a scam.
You just want to hear after the fact. Like, I'd want to hear what other people are saying about the pictures. Like, could you trust someone else's description? They were like, one person per family can look at these off-world vehicles, and then they have to just describe it like a game of telephone.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
What, you'd let me do it instead
Yeah,
of
that'd
you
be
doing
fine.
it?
I trust you.
Okay.
What about meeting an alien though?
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that because I feel like we don't understand their telepathic capabilities. We don't understand.
Right.
I don't want to get tagged by an alien, where they like, because they could probably telepathically just like tag me so they can trace me where I am all the time.
Hmm.
And why would you subject yourself to that kind of vulnerability?
Well, I think the aliens are here and they have been all along. But our ability to perceive them is only just now starting to become something that more people can do.
Do you think there are any humans that are aliens? Like, you were talking about him, and you're like, he's an alien. When I think of people like that, I think of people who, like, in their last go round, they were an alien. Like, they're like kind of one of those future people who like came back, and their last like 10 lifetimes for them as aliens.
And now they're a human for the first time.
Yeah, so they like are trying to they figure it out in a different way, and they have different energetic perspectives.
I know we know people like that. I don't want to necessarily name them because this might be seen as an insult.
Well, the person who introduced me to the idea, I'll say her name because Amy DeBeer, incredible singer musician, she's like, I think this might be one of my first lifetimes as an alien, so please forgive me.
As a human.
As a human.
Yeah. I know she's straight up. She said, I think this is my first go through as a human.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Amy, we're here for you. Like, I'm pretty sure we've been doing it a long time. Well, especially you and I. We did it as one person before. Now we're trying it as two. We've done it as three. Our next one, we were saying maybe we'll just be the same thing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
No, and that's where I think there's just got to be so much compassion for people. Like, I don't even feel like I need to know, like, what is your trauma? Why are you addicted? Like, life and maybe just incarnating as a human is particularly difficult for someone.
Yeah.
And we just need support, and we need to support each other, and our priority should be on helping each other out, not,
And when we have that support, like, we all flourish. Everybody flourishes. Everyone is an artist. That's the thing. Everyone's an artist. We're just like fucking caught up with some bullshit. Mm-hmm. We're caught up with some bullshit and we're distracted.
Well, because we're this extension of this bigger thing.
Godhead.
This bigger Godhead, and you're an extension. And so it's like, do you want to be online for other people, or are you going to be offline? Like, are you going to spend your time scared and worried and not able to show people your connection to Godhead, or are you going to worry about whether or not you're connected to Godhead? Or whatever, that's just where I'm Yo, I got through this okay, though. I'm okay.
You're fucking fine.
I'm definitely blazied, but
there's levels, obviously, with cannabis, and with you in particular. There's a line that you definitely haven't crossed.
Yeah, the one where I get like totally locked up, like last night or 2 nights ago. I was like,
your eyelids are just down, and your eyes are red.
And I was like telling you and my mom, I'm like, I will make dinner.
Oh my God. We recorded a Church of Chill episode, and it was awesome. You guys were making these beautiful paintings, and somewhere along the episode, it must have hit you, because at the beginning of the episode, you looked fine. By the end, you could barely open your eyes, and you're like, I'll make dinner. It's fine. And it was 8:15 at night, and the mission was for you to make macaroni and cheese, the vegan one that Annie's makes.
Yeah. Annie, yeah.
And it took you 2 hours and 15 minutes.
It's hard to believe that, but
we were eating at 10:30 macaroni and cheese out of a box.
Yeah.
It fucking started at 8:15.
I have a real trouble asking for help, or
we were helping, but like we were also high, but yeah.
No,
it just seemed like you had it handled.
I was like, I can handle this. And then like between each thing I would do, I'd have to like sit in the chair and
you're like, oh, sitting on the kitchen floor feels really nice.
It did feel really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your paintings are I feel like it's really cute when you when you've almost taken too much of whatever and try to paint, because it's like something different is going to come out, and maybe it'll inspire you.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a looseness to what you were painting that I thought that really spoke to me.
I feel that cannabis, I might not be tapping into it right now because I'm medicating because I have pain, and it's just like it's really leveling me right now.
Like cramps, it helps with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But cannabis, something about cannabis, you get like a lot of ideas, and you can't necessarily hold on to them all, but
Yeah.
you could probably subsist a month or a week if you were thoughtful about how you navigated that territory and maybe did an integration ceremony where you wrote some of that stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
You could really, I mean, I feel like we've gone 6 months, 6 years off of particular mushroom trips where it's like, oh, this is what's up, this is where we're at, this is who we are, this is what's important to us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, cannabis is definitely that. Like, it's sometimes there's too many ideas.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, you're in a flow and you're just like, oh, cool.
Yeah. It's like those videos of like people like tapping those kegs.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're like, and it's like a crowd of people at like a microbrewery, and it's a bunch of like dad bods standing around like looking, and it's like ding ding ding, and it's just like explodes. That's like when the weed when a proper dose of edibles hits you. That's the idea. It's just like, but if you have discipline and you have some sort of like artistic focus in your life, oh my God, it's like, it's the best. And you know how to just take the ones that are proper. You know, you can sense the ones that are bullshit from a mile away, and like, oh, here's a proper one. This is worth fucking going down the flow chart of wherever this is going to take me.
Totally. That's why it really clicked for me when I started thinking about anxiety in terms of like misplaced creativity.
Yeah.
Because you're imagining, you're creating this universe where everything is going wrong and everything will go wrong. Or everything has go wrong, and it's like that's your perspective, and you're creating this story and investing this story, and pushing away the story. And when I started to think about, I don't successfully always do this, but yeah, what I find when you just like sit in front and like be like, I'm going to take this and it's going to flow through my body, out through my hand, and we are going to let this get onto a page and get out of my body.
Well, I mean, cannabis just reminds me and all of us that we are creativity. We are creativity. That's what we are. When that's stifled is when you start to see the shit hit the fan in someone's life. But we need to get it out. It's an energy that flows through all of us. And this place is healthier when we can express it.
That's why right now what's happening, which you just told me this, and I guess somehow I missed this, that protesters, in order to get out of jail, when they're scooped up and thrown in jail, are being made to sign agreements or contracts that they won't go back onto the streets to protest. And so effectively expressing yourself at this time has become illegal. Yeah. And the consequences if you go and express yourself again, something that's like a time-honored American tradition. Yeah. Yes, I'm just thinking about that in context of creativity and how it's so important for people to not only express themselves on an individual level, but on a collective level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now's the time. I'm going to spark one.
Okay.
Can we, this would be a good place to talk about, we got to clean up some business. And anyone still listening are the people that care about us.
Yeah.
And listening
and
to
care about this kind of business.
Yeah. And care about this kind of business. But we have a show, Church of Chill. Mm-hmm. We have this show, the Very A podcast. And then we have Church of Chill, which is like our music show. It, like we were saying, we wanted a radio show and we didn't really feel like asking permission to do it, so we started just doing it. The powers that be don't like that. And we keep getting strikes on our SoundCloud. And our SoundCloud is the aggregator for the audio version of everything. It's on the same feed as the Very A podcast.
So it sends it to Spotify, Stitcher, and to iTunes. Yeah, sorry.
So basically our account keeps getting fucked with. We already got dropped from Spotify once and lost 7,500 subscribers. And now SoundCloud is starting to do its just basically
pull these episodes that we're not making money off of.
We're not making money off of any of this stuff, But they're pulling down old Church of Chill episodes because there's copyrighted music in them. Obviously, that's all it is.
Yeah. Which and I respect that
whatever.
artists are. Yeah, we're not trying to take.
We got away
advantage
with it for this long.
Yeah.
But we want Church of Chill to continue, so we're going to have to figure out a way to do that. But in the meantime, if these episodes start disappearing, and they might very well already be gone by the time you're hearing this, if they disappear off the feed, don't be alarmed. There'll be a place where you could get them. We're just kind of figuring all this out.
Yeah, and also if you're listening on any of those feeds that we mentioned, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher, come on over to YouTube.
Yeah, that's the main thing you could do to help us right now.
Yeah.
Is subscribe to our YouTube if you dig this podcast. Because basically what we're going to have to do is we just don't want to be beholden to any one platform because they could too easily fuck with us. Even YouTube is having their issues. We're having our issues with YouTube.
We're not putting all our eggs in one basket.
Yes, we can't.
But if this goes away, there are other places to find us, and we may just need to start over with our
and we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely open to suggestions. But also, until 20 episodes ago, we were playing popular music during the podcast.
Right.
So we might have to delete those episodes too. So if you're this type of person, we've heard some people are going through the whole catalog. God knows what would possess somebody to do that. But if you're one of these people and you're only on episode 150 something or whatever, and this disappears, I'm just saying with peace and love, this is why. So we might have to clear everything off our SoundCloud and audio feed of this podcast from episode 180 to beyond and before that.
Yeah, so if you're listening to us now and have been listening to us, thank you. That's been awesome. It's kept us going and feeling like this is even a thing that we can keep doing.
Subscribe to the YouTube, youtube.com/veryape. We have all of our films on there besides Cam Girls, which is uncensored on our website, veryape.tv.
I believe on our website you can, if you log in or go onto our website, veryape.tv, there will be a place where you can subscribe to our mailing list. And
maybe we'll use that one day. It
doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. But subscribing to our mailing list is another, it's just a safety net for us.
I don't remember the last time we sent an email.
We wouldn't send an email unless it was like, yo, we just got pulled off all the platforms. And I don't know. I feel like this podcast is and always has been for us a way of making new friends and growing the family and having a cool network of people. We don't want you to be a fan of ours. We want you to be a friend of ours. And if you listen to this podcast, you probably feel like you know us well, and we'd love to get to know you well. So keep in touch. We love you, honestly. Everyone that's reached out to us, like...
Yeah, no, we feel we feel the energy too right now. It's I know everyone's going through a lot, so
let's be here for each other.
Yeah.
Let's be here for each other. This is like something we can offer, but we'd love to offer more and see what you're offering. So be in touch,
Cool.
Cool?
Cool.
Cool, mate.
Cool, mate.
Well, let's smoke one for all our homies.
Mm-hmm.
George Clinton, Frank Zappa, Ween, Bob Dylan, Prince. The Grateful Dead. Diarrhea Planet. The Descendants.
That was a great show. Sturgill Simpson.
Kurt Vile.
So good. Brick and Mortar.
Jeffrey Lewis.
Yeah, we'll have him on soon, hopefully.
Josh Craig.
Yeah.
Johnny Fritz.
Yeah.
Father John Misty.
Yeah.
Some good shows.
Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Ronnie Wood.
John Mayer.
Let's leave it at that.
Cool.
We're going to leave it at John Mayer. Johnny Salami.
Yep.
Old Salami boy. Sexy Jerry. Cool. Veryape Podcast. Thanks for joining us. This was meant to be a chill one. Thanks for fucking chilling with us. Peace and love.
Peace and love.